record on this computer. So here we go. We did try and go live today. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
But Facebook didn't want to play.
The gremlins are out again.
Yeah. So we're just nattering at home and at home.
Are you definitely at home? You didn't go out anywhere? You've not gone on your holidays?
No, and Jake and I had a discussion earlier about what we should do tonight, and we both thought that just for a change, we'd stay in.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah.
Cool. I think that sounds like a good idea. Well, when we finish nattering, I am going to go and feed the dog, get some tea, get in my jammies, and hopefully I'll get a watch of the Phantom in before it goes off at 7.
I think this is as much border as my blanket's going to get.
So how many colours is that? Is that 2 I can see, or is it 3?
Grey, duck egg, and Lincoln green.
I thought you were going to go meadow as well.
Yeah, couldn't be bothered.
Oh, fair enough.
I'd love to tell you it was some technical reason, but no, it was just a case of CBA.
CBA is a technical reason, Lorraine.
Well,
it
yeah,
is the most technical reason.
And then I accidentally did the chains for a lap-sized Dune blanket.
Right, okay.
So we've got silver grey, duck egg, storm blue, mocha, and I think this is some sort of camel-y colour.
So that just accidentally leaped onto your hook this afternoon, did it?
And here's the bag. Can you see all the other colours?
You can see all the beautiful colours.
Yeah, there's a load of greens, pinks, neutrals, lilacs, teals. Very, very pretty colours, and it's the leftovers from the Dune blanket that I made for my cousin's little girl.
Wow.
So I thought I might as well have a small lap blanket for me.
Well, I think that's very, very sensible.
Yeah, that was my thinking anyway.
Well, I've still been doing my Ujima flippy thing. What do you call it?
That nice diagonal pattern.
Yeah, so I've got about that much left. It's quite a bit, actually. It is 100% cotton.
Right.
I checked on the ball. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just enjoying doing this at the minute. I have actually planned a blanket. I've kind of sketched it this afternoon. I've decided where the cast on's going to be. I've decided like on a rib bit, and I've decided on like how big it needs to be, like how many inches and that. So I'm going to swatch when I finish this.
So you're going to cast on at the beginning?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you know it's a blanket, isn't it?
Well, you could cast on in the middle. You could do Judy's magic cast on and work out from the centre of a.
Well, it's going to be one that goes from the middle, and then it's going to go round the back, and then come back to the front middle, and it's going to have buttons going up the middle.
Oh, lovely jubbly! Sounds really nice.
So that will be a job for tonight, hopefully.
I watched Captain Marvel last night. You know, it was dramatically improved by playing with the Uji flips on my telly remote and realising that my mother had the contrast set to about 50% and kept complaining that everything on the screen was dark. And I was thinking, blimey, this film's as dark as a bag. I don't want to watch this.
Oh, I love it.
I worked my way through it thinking, I can hardly see anything. This is ridiculous. I thought, right, check the settings, and then started messing about with switching on the backlights.
Yeah.
Changing the contrast to 100%. And sure enough, it's all bright and sunny and much nicer. So I don't know whether I should tell her, because she might want the telly back then for her bedroom.
Yeah, don't tell her. We won't tell her. She doesn't listen to us, does she?
No.
No, it's fine.
No, she doesn't do social media.
What you have to think is, whose need is greater?
Well, it's mine at the moment.
Exactly. So, you know, I'll back you up. I'll get, you know, social distance fisticuffs out.
Cool.
Yeah.
See, I knew you'd have my back.
Oh, definitely. You need anyone to back you up at any point. Unless it's against me, obviously.
What, you won't have this sort of three-sided conversation in your head?
I always have a three-sided conversation in my head. It's just, I can't help it. Wrangle with myself as to what I should be doing and what I want to be doing.
I find if I get to that stage, I have to just stop and say, will this take me closer to or further away from my goal for today? And usually that's enough to make me stop and think, yeah, I'll do this, because that's taking me closer to the said goal of, but it doesn't always work, because sometimes my inner lazy pig just wants to.
Well, that was me last weekend. I kept saying something about my goal, and my inner self would say, I really couldn't care less about your goals today.
And I sent Emma an email this week that came to me from Housewife How To's. I think she's called Katie. She's on Facebook.
Yeah.
And she does all of these sort of cleaning routines and stuff that people other than me do.
I used to.
Because they're really worried about it all, whereas I think, yeah, does that need to scrub? Let's scrub that onto something else. I can't
get away with it for another day. Yeah, all right, I'll leave it.
There's just some things I'm not really bothered about. But she did send an excellent email, which was very well worded.
Yes.
She may have put a post in her group. But basically saying it's okay to not be productive while we're all in this situation. And I suppose I've been productive in this way, and I've been productive on somebody's website today, and I've done a little bit of exercise, but I could probably, if I'd really put my mind to it, have lost half a stone and been partway through a Couch to 5K had I been minded to.
Could have been learning French and all sorts.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, and there will be some people who've got tremendous self-discipline, absolutely no interruptions, and will get through a massive job list like that and come out the end of it thinking, oh, that's great, I've suddenly learnt to do this. Marvellous. Take my hat off to you. I am honing my skills on what I do already. I'm making sure that I look after my mental health by not stressing myself out about what I haven't done.
Yeah.
Because that dust on top of the skybox will be back tomorrow. If I'm dusting anyway, it'll get dusted. What am I going to get out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning, having worried about it all night because I didn't dust the skybox? I don't think so. Am I stressing about the fact that I haven't learned Spanish, Italian, French, Finnish? I don't know. Picked up another language? No. Is that going to help me in my everyday life when we get back to whatever normal is? No, it's not. It'd be nice, but it's not. So, forgive us if we prefer to put our energy into things that will make a difference to our lives. And if keeping our sanity by not stressing about whether the kitchen counter's been scrubbed 17 times today or whether our garden looks as nice as Tom's down the road, who's been retired for 20 years and does nothing but the garden.
Yeah.
Just be kind to yourself, because a lot of you are being teachers for the first time, or certainly classroom assistants for your own children.
Yeah.
And probably getting to the end of the day and just being proud that you didn't kill them.
And trying to work from home is different as well for some people, isn't it?
Well, if you're used to a very structured office environment and no interruptions, and all of a sudden you've got a baby crawling around the floor slobbering on your shoes and socks, a 5-year-old who leaps over your head onto the chair, bounces off and shouts and constantly says, daddy, 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 or mummy, 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 or I need this, I need that.
And a husband who can't find anything and keeps interrupting you all day long as well.
Oh, or people who interrupt when you're counting your knitting or crochet sticks.
Oh, it's just, worthy of a death penalty, that one, I'm afraid.
It's just the height of evil, I'm afraid.
But that email was exactly what I needed at that time. And actually, I have blogged today about the fact that I felt really awful last weekend. And I think I was having like a bit of a mental health thing, to be honest, because I did feel frustrated with myself. I did feel like I should have been using the time more productively, but even when I talk to myself about what being productive is, it's a subjective thing, isn't it? Well, I'm saying to myself I should be more productive, but I am being productive. I just wasn't seeing it. I mean, I have started my flute, and I am doing that every day, but that's because I'm enjoying it. And it's not adding anything to, bringing an income into the family. In fact, it's probably worse because I spent a load of money on music books that I don't really need. And, an app that's actual lessons and stuff. But I'm really enjoying it and I'm getting a lot out of it. And so I'll do it. But the minute that I'm not getting anything out of it, I'll stop.
Yeah, I stopped doing a year with my camera, and it's not a reflection of the course or the content or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reflection of the fact that some of the assignments are out of doors, and or you need to be by a body of water, or you need to be by this, or you need to be by that. And while I was ill and I wasn't allowed out of the house, it wasn't practical. And now that I'm behind, I'm thinking, actually, I'm going to leave it till later in the year. And I'll do it when I've got the freedom and the inclination to do it, possibly over the Christmas holidays, because I usually take 2 or 3 weeks off then.
Yeah.
And, kind of completely shut down.
I never got started on it. I just never found the time, even the very
I actually found the first 3 lessons the most useful of anything anyone's taught me about cameras before.
Right.
Stop it.
It's like having a toddler, isn't it?
I think she's constipated.
Oh dear. Bless.
Are you constipated, Coco? Is that the problem?
Oh, bless. It isn't a nice.
Got a lead pipe you can't get rid of. I don't know. She's just been in and out for days, and I thought it was just because she's been in season. But yeah, she wants to be out all the time, and the other one wants to be in all the time because the temperature's dropped, and it's not nice to sit outside in the cold.
Do you know what? It was freezing this morning when I went out on my run. I actually was wishing I had a pair of gloves on, but now it is glorious sunshine. The wind has dropped and I've got the back door open. It's lovely, and a couple of windows open.
No, it's actually quite chilly here, which is why I'm sat cuddled under a blanket, because I just I've had to put socks on because my feet are cold, and I've got a hot cup of tea, but I'm not putting the heating on. The heating's not.
My heating actually turned itself on this afternoon. I was absolutely boiled, and I started going around opening windows. I was like, blimey, that sun's come out with a vengeance. And then I realised I've got the back door open. I bet the heating's come on. So I went down and whacked it right down. And but obviously it took a little while for the radiators to cool down. But it's doing my head in at the minute. I turned it off the other morning. It was boiling hot, right? And it said that the temperature was 20 degrees. And I checked, and the heating was down to, I think, like 17 or something. Yet the heating was still coming on. It was just doing its own thing.
Is it an issue with the thermostat or something?
I don't know.
What I generally do with mine once we get to the end of April is I switch off on the boiler, the dial, so that the radiators are at 0. So even if anybody goes past the thermostat up the stairs and whacks it up, nothing's going to the radiators.
Wow. See, you're imminently more sensible than me.
Sneaky, I think, is probably the word. I don't know if it's sensible.
Yeah, but sometimes I like to be able to stick them on because I am a soft southerner, and unfortunately I'm still not used to that northeast wind that we get coming across.
Yeah,
which
it's a cold wind.
We're expecting it all week long, I think. So occasionally I do get really soft and go and turn it on. So yeah.
The forecast this morning said we were supposed to have a 70% chance of rain.
Right.
I thought, oh, good, it'll have rained, and that'll be better for the farmers or anybody with a garden, whatever. Look out the back, everything's dry as old Nick.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, still not rained, and there's no sign of it for at least another week.
The run that I did this morning is actually part of a National Trust 10K route. And my friends and I have been talking about doing it for quite a while. And I kept saying no, because it's where I walk the dog and it is a mud fest at the moment. We won't go. And it was like once a month. And I kept saying, I'll let you know when it's good. And we never got to it because it was always a mud fest. Well, I went across and did it this morning. And like you say, it was bone dry. You've got tractor tracks. And where they are so rock hard, I nearly twisted my ankles on them a couple of times because there is literally no give in the ground at all. Really, really hard out there. We do need some rain. I don't want rain. I like it when it's dry like that because the dog comes in.
Well,
nice
just an hour overnight while we're all in bed.
My mum always said that it should only ever be allowed to rain overnight.
Well, if there'd been any kind of intelligent design to all of this, that's exactly what it would have done, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Although a bit harsh on the animals that are nocturnal.
Yeah, I suppose so. Or anybody that's sleeping outside.
Yeah.
It's homeless, it's not particularly nice.
It's not particularly nice, but although it does have a tendency to rain more at night than it does in the day, apparently, statistically.
Okay. I don't know if that's true for Cumbria.
I think it's true, like across the board, across the world. It's something to do with the temperatures and the air and the water in the air or something. Because I looked it up because I noticed that it always tended to be raining when I woke up, and that it stopped by 9 o'clock. So I looked it up because I was curious about it. It's like, well, why is it that it's always raining when I walk the dog, but by the time I get home it's stopped? It's annoying.
Not by the time kids get to school.
Yeah, when the school run's finished and the parents are back in nice and dry, when they could have done with it being dry half an hour earlier. Because it's like the magic of park run. You can get up in the morning on a Saturday morning and it be lashing it down and you get wet on your warm up and everything, but by some miracle, by 9 o'clock, 9 times out of 10 it stopped raining.
That's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my latest shell.
So is it going to be that wide and you're just going to keep going long? Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, it's long stripes.
So is that like what you did with the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a border on it?
Yeah.
What colour are you going now?
I think this one.
What colour's that? That looks like a nice, like, golden corn colour.
Something like that. And then I've got parchment for my next colour.
Very nice. Did you have a cup of tea? I've got an Earl Grey.
Something fall on Labradors. Did you hear everybody move then in panic? Because the wool moved.
Oh my goodness. How dare the wool move?
Well, it's because we know that we'll be in trouble if we touch it.
Right.
We'll shout, no.
Don't touch that.
Oh,
it's amazing what they know. Like, my dog in 24 hours has learnt the word muffin. I say to him, do you want a muffin? He goes and sits and looks at it. Oh, look at that. Look at you and your flipping blanket.
Yeah, Labrador underneath it.
Oh, so they like it just as much as you do?
Yeah, she'll go underneath it.
Yeah.
So it's sort of snuggly. She's on top of it at the moment because she wants me to do something for her.
All right, okay.
But she was on hunger strike yesterday. She wouldn't eat the kibble.
She's still not happy with that.
Well, up until last night when she decided that actually miserable old Granny's not going to give us anything else, so we'll eat it. And it had all gone by this morning.
Oh, well, there you go.
I put fresh in the dish. They've had the sausage and pasta. To be honest, it's probably more than enough that they need for the day.
Arthur had his chicken. He had chicken thighs for breakfast this morning, and he's had at least 2 muffins that he shared with me.
Right.
He does.
That was very generous of him.
Well, yeah. He
said let you have any.
Well, he said that I put all the effort into the cooking, so he thought he'd let me have a little taste.
Oh, okay. Did he pre-lick them for you?
Yeah. He made sure that they were all right because, you know, if not, he could have been poisoning me.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I wouldn't be able to make him any more muffins in the future.
Yeah, absolutely true. It's just, you know, absolute kindness, isn't it?
Well, they know that they've got to look after us in such a way, don't they?
Sort of. I've got one around my foot now.
Bless.
A little Labrador. They've torn up their bed overnight.
Yeah.
They've got 2 folded single heavyweight duvets, and one of them is absolutely shredded. So I'm looking at the floor now.
Yeah.
And it's full of pieces of shredded duvet stuffing.
Nice.
And dog hair. So I'll have to tidy that up in a bit because it'll drive me bananas now that I've seen it.
See, that's the mistake you made. You shouldn't have looked.
I shouldn't have looked. I should have just ignored it.
Ignorant bliss.
Oh, absolutely.
I had a late night again last night.
Did you?
Well, Caitlin
because you were watching your Phantom.
Yeah, we were watching the Phantom together. Caitlin and I were watching it. So it's like 2.5 hours or something, and then they had all the curtain calls and that. And then by the time that had finished and I packed up and went to bed, it was like nearly 10 o'clock. So there's something wrong here. What's going on? 2 nights in a row. But it was quite funny because we were singing along, much to the disgust of the dog.
Oh, well.
His ears kept twitching. They were like, what's this noise?
No, the whole world's a critic when it's not them. You see how much lighter it is.
Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it?
Mm.
Beautiful, though. Beautiful.
It's getting there. Be glad when I've done a full repeat and sort of see how it looks then.
Yeah.
I'm not following her order at all.
Surprise, surprise.
I got the printed pattern, and it has this very helpful, let me see it, colour stripe sequence.
That's a lot of colours.
Yeah, it's up to 100 rows. I did 70 for my cousin's baby, and then the border is meant to be mushrooms, cloud blue, pale rose and duck egg.
So is that why you had so much left over? Because it's a lot of colours, but you don't use a lot of each one.
Yeah, some of the colours appear 9 or 10 times, and others of them appear a lot less. So it's
a bit weird.
Yeah. I think I counted like the camel stripes or something, and there's like 7 of those. But then she must like storm blue because it appears a lot, and aspen appears quite a bit, and I don't know. It's a lot of colours.
Right. See, if I was to design a blanket like that, it'd go through all the blues, and it might have a bit of green or brown or something in it, but most people would say, this woman likes blue.
Probably would. Oh, it's not Lincoln green, it must be spearmint. Maybe I picked up the Lincoln from the woodland pack then. I don't know. It's fine. It's all leftovers.
Nobody will know.
A blanket. No one will know any different, and it'll work.
Okay.
It'd be fine.
It'd be fine. It'll be all right.
Yeah. So again, I've barely left the house. I went outside with the washing this morning that I'd put on last night, and hung that out. And then I've sort of kept a beady eye on the weather because it was insisting that it was going to rain and hasn't. and then the temperature really dropped and it felt damp.
Right.
And I was a bit achy, and I thought, yeah, that's rain on the way. So I brought the washing in, hung what was left to dry upstairs. Some of it had dried already, so that's all good.
Yeah.
And then it's gone a bit grey, and we've had 1 or 2 little wet splashes at the window, but no actual rain.
Oh, well.
It's not what Cumbria is supposed to be. It's supposed to be horizontal rain and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's how it works here. That's why we've got lakes.
That's why you've got lakes.
Yeah. So, burp cloths. Are you stopping at the 3, or are you
Well,
going
I've only got 3 balls of this cotton. I have got some other cotton in my stash, but I think it's like Debbie Bliss cotton also. It's certainly not baby cotton. I don't even know what it is. I bought it when I was a young, inexperienced knitter, didn't know what I was buying, and just bought all sorts of different things. And then was surprised that they were all different feel and different thickness, and it's like, oh, that's made of something different to that one. I didn't realise that. I just thought all wool was wool, you know.
Well, and that's the problem. We just generically describe it as it's a wool shop.
Or a yarn shop.
And they may not even have
wool.
Any wool at all.
I mean, I knitted when I was younger, but it was literally a case of you went to the post office and they had some wool on the wall, some wool on the wall. And
wool, it was
yeah. And it was a case of, what colour do you want? I'll have blue. Well, we've got this blue or that blue. Oh, well, I'll have that blue. You know, dark blue or light blue. And that was it, basically. And it was probably all acrylic. I have no clue. I have no clue. My mum would say, you know, oh, you can buy 2 balls today, so choose 2, and that's it. It was a small section. Like I say, it's probably all acrylic. I have no clue. So when I came back to it as an adult, like 20 odd years later, I was just like, oh yeah, that looks nice. I'll buy that and I'll buy that. And look at the range of colours, not thinking, oh yeah, that one's totally different to that one. So it was probably bought during that period. So I've no clue what kind it is. So possibly I might make some more at some point, but for the moment, these will be the only 3.
Right.
That was a long-winded answer, wasn't it?
No, but it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so I'll go on to the blanket next because I've got some chunky yarn for that. In a kind of a purpley colour, but like a pinky purple. I don't know how you'd describe that. What colour would that be? Like a magenta, I suppose? Is that a pinky purple?
Magenta's a pinky purple, but it's quite a bright pinky purple.
Well, I haven't got it in here with me, so I'll have to show you it tomorrow. But I'm gonna go with that, I think, because she says she likes pinks and greys. So we'll go with that. See how it goes.
Very good.
Yep. That's my plan for the weekend. Still haven't done my cardigan, but I'm still not feeling it yet. I just need to leave it until I really, really want to do that.
Well, you know, it's not a race. There's no actual publishing deadline for it.
No, it's not even an actual sample that I'm going to write as a pattern. It's just a test to see.
Do you follow Franklin Habit on Facebook?
No.
He's quite vocal in his opinions.
All right.
And he's obviously had a falling out with a publisher whose name he doesn't mention, other than that he's worked for them for years and they've brought a deadline forward, and he's saying that you can't just squeeze creativity out just because you feel like it. You've either got the muse or you haven't, and that's not how he works. And well, we want it by this date, at which point I think he told them to sling the books or shove their request for work somewhere that the sun doesn't shine.
Yeah.
Ended that relationship. And I thought it was interesting to get his take on it, because he was just annoyed that they've moved the deadline
Right.
It wasn't a problem. But now they want something hilariously funny, clever, creative, and all the rest of it, as if they can just say, oh, we'll just think of something, you've got 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's not good, is it? That is the beauty of being an independent designer, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, your muse is whatever you want it to be when you want it to be.
Well, yeah, I mean, the calls for submissions come out, and I always look at them, and it's, you know, nice to look at the mood boards and think, oh, I could maybe design something like that. Or sometimes I'll look at them and I just think, no, not interested at all. I've got nothing coming to mind.
No.
So could you imagine if you were actually under contract to make something
horrible.
Every single time? It would be awful, wouldn't it?
Blanket now, you horrid creature.
Well, she thinks it's her blanket.
Well, she put a claw through it and then couldn't move it, and then was lying on the floor going, she'll kill me if I tear it. Yes,
Oops.
I do.
Oops, especially as it's the brand new one.
Oh, I know. I mean, it is what it is. Jake said, oh, why don't you make a blanket for them? Because it'll take me hundreds of hours and they'll eat it.
Yeah. They can have a blanket when it's an old blanket.
Yeah, when it's dropping to bits.
Exactly. That's the law, isn't it? Either that, or it can be wool that you don't like. You know, you've worked with half a ball of all these different colours and you didn't like it. Then that's okay.
I've got some 10 balls of Sadler Click, and it was a replacement colour that Kemp sent me. I'd ordered Harvest or something like that, Heather or something it was called. It was sort of a fairly neutral beigey brown.
Right.
And I quite like that for sweaters and cardigans. So I'd ordered some more of that, and they sent me Harvester instead. And it's this dark, inky purple.
Oh.
It's a very intense green.
Okay.
A deep green. My mother would call it forest, I think. And a bright, smack you in the gob pumpkin orange.
Nice combination then.
3 strands, which is probably lovely for autumnal stuff. But for all I like my warm colours, I absolutely hate the orange in it. And I've tried everything to try and amp it down. It looks better knitted than it does crocheted. It looks awful crocheted.
How funny.
So yeah, I don't know whether I could do them a blanket with that. I suppose I could.
You probably could. It's, you know, do you want to though? That's a completely different question, isn't it? There are so many other things to be making.
Well, yeah, possibly. Possibly not.
You know, like when my brother suggested to me that I should make silly hats for runners to wear. It's like, no, I really don't want to be doing that.
I know. Yeah, someone said to me, oh, why don't you learn how to use your sewing machine so that you can make scrubs? Well, I think anybody doing something like that needs to be relatively experienced. I don't think they're a beginner project.
Not at all.
And if we're doing this for another month, I don't want to spend the whole month making one pair of scrubs, which is what it will be.
And you have to have the right kind of material and everything.
Well, you know, so, you know,
it's not like you can use any material. You have to use things like Barber were using their waxy stuff, weren't they?
Yeah.
I saw a what do you call it? A news report thingy on the Barber factory where they obviously can't make Barber coats anymore. And I think they had stopped work and they've all been called back in again and they're all making scrubs now, but they're using their waterproof materials that they would normally use for jackets and walk-in trousers and stuff. They're using that to make these
because it's got that barrier that hopefully will help.
It's not going to be the easiest material to either get hold of or work with.
Stop it.
Is it? You know, so you couldn't just drop everything and go, oh, it's all right, I've got a sewing machine, I'll sit here and I'll make some scrubs. It's not as easy as that.
I don't even have the flat space to cut out the pieces, which is why I don't really sew. It's a small house. It is what it is.
And also, if you think about that, in a place like Barber, it would be one person's job to cut out one specific piece all day long. That's what they do. You know, so you'd have
either that or it's it'll be like LBO that used to be at Millen, the swimsuit company. And they had a machine and it had a layout that was plotted by computer.
All right, okay.
They fit the various pieces on, and this machine just followed this layout of cutting, and you got so many layers cut in one go.
All right. Well, maybe I'm just out of date then, because I had it in my head that you had people stood round and each person had a specific job. So you would have individual people cutting individual pieces. Then they would go to the machinist, and each machinist did one individual sewing bit.
That is probably the case, but it was more likely that it's machine cut.
Right. So, like, say I was the person that sewed the elastic in the waist, and then it'd go, that piece would then go in a box and get moved on to someone else to do, I don't know, the cuffs, and then somebody else would sew the pockets. Yeah. So you don't actually make a pair of trousers, you just do one specific bit, don't you?
Yeah, you might sew the buttons on.
Yeah, and that's all you do all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, again, it's not the sort of thing that you could just pick up and do in your own home.
Well, no, I have made a t-shirt, but it took me about 32 attempts to get the neckband even close.
I'm not that skilled. I've made a patchwork quilt for Kate then, and it, you know, was quite small and it looked nice until you looked at it close up, obviously. But I just didn't enjoy it. I mean, I've talked about this before, the whole cutting material thing. I just don't enjoy it. It stresses me out.
Yeah, it's not, I don't like working with fabric. I like working with yarn, and
yeah,
that's just it.
And also,
what it is.
I don't enjoy sitting to my sewing machine. You know, you have to sit it up on a table and you have to be sat, and what's the fun in that? You can't just lounge on your bed and watch a movie if you feel like it, or take your knitting with you and go and sit in the garden. And
yeah,
that's what I like about hand knitting. It's portable.
It is.
Put it on the bus. Woo woo. Not that there's many buses at the moment.
Well, one of our bus drivers from the Friends of X112 is fighting for his life in hospital at the moment, and as I understand it, they've tried to take him off the ventilator, but they have to sort of partially wake you up first, and he's fighting.
Right.
He's getting quite distressed and fighting it, so I think they're going to have to try something else, because every time they try and wake him up to do the next part of the process, he's kicking off. And the thing is, he won't know what's happened. He'll have been in essentially an induced coma for several weeks. Probably doesn't even remember going into hospital. So it's no wonder people wake up agitated like that and don't know which way is up, let alone anything else.
Absolutely awful.
But, you know, at least he's got a shot of waking up, and they're talking about taking him off a ventilator. That sounds very positive to me.
Yeah, that is good. You know, it's just trying to find a way of doing it safely for him, isn't it, I suppose?
Absolutely, yeah.
I watched on the news this morning, on the BBC News, all the doctors from Newcastle University who were just graduating, taking their Hippocratic oath via a Skype thing.
Right.
So that they could get out there and get on with it, because otherwise they can't actually work for the NHS until they've taken their oath, can they?
No.
And it was like the guy who obviously was in charge of it was in the middle, and then they had loads of people around the outside all saying it all together. It was quite moving, actually.
Yeah, first do no harm. Yeah.
Yes. And something about the autonomy of my patient or something like that. I don't know, can't remember. I've never had to take it.
I do feel though that these student nurses that are out there should have all of their debt wiped and should be getting paid.
All of them, really. Even, I mean, you've got people out there who have been working for a long time and are still paying off.
Yeah, should all just be wiped.
Doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. I don't understand it, because before, if you were training as a nurse, you used to get a bursary, and then they stopped that, and then they made you go to university and pay tuition fees and all the rest of it instead. And so you're in a hospital and you're working, and it's basically you're paying them to work.
I know, this is why I disagreed about the policing degree, but they've now encapsulated that with an apprenticeship.
Right.
Where you're earning while you're working towards your degree, which makes far more sense to me. But quite frankly, unless you are moving to the upper ranks or you're going to specialise in some branch of criminology or, you know, the psychological side of it, you don't need a degree to be good with people, to understand how to behave and calm things down and have the common sense to do the everyday job. You don't need a degree for that.
Especially, you know, like your community policemen, that you bobby on the beat that you don't really see anymore, but they're the ones that know that area. They know the vulnerable people, they know the people causing the problems, and that, like you say, that, well, they probably could take a degree on their local area, but they're not going to get that, are they?
No, stop it.
That is the one job I did want to do, to be fair. I think I'd have been good in the police.
Fancied the uniform?
Well, I do fancy the uniform. I fancy any uniform, to be honest.
Well, I'll let you post, you know.
Yeah, but wait until I've disinfected my flaps first.
And your knockers.
And my knockers.
Yeah.
No, I'm still feeling the Tim Minchin at the minute. Shocking. Dreads. I don't know what it is. I never liked the dreads before, but all of a sudden they're looking quite attractive. I think I've been in lockdown for too long.
Stop it.
The wilder his hair gets, the more I like it. Like when he's got it all like stuck out at the back and everything. And he's got not only eyeliner but masses of blue sparkly eyeshadow. He's got a bit of what's his name? Eddie Izzard.
Oh, right, okay.
Going on. He's a cross between Eddie Izzard and Bill Bailey.
I like Eddie Izzard.
I like Eddie Izzard. And I like Bill Bailey as a comedian. I did have a line manager once, and she said he was her secret crush, Bill Bailey. And we all sort of like looked at her, as like, oh.
But he's very sweet, and I loved him in Black Books with Dylan Moran or Moran.
Did you see the orchestra one that he did?
No.
Oh, it's really good. You'll have to look it up. It's very clever, and it's a bit like what Tim Minchin does. But Tim Minchin, to be fair, if you've got any kind of religion or if you don't like swearing, he's not the guy for you. Definitely.
No, he's not.
No. But I just find him funny, really, to be honest. And yeah, but you've got to look up Bill Bailey, the orchestra one. I can't remember what it was actually called. It was something about an orchestra, but what it was, I don't know. And he just uses the orchestra in a really clever, funny way. And he's not rude.
I like Dylan. I never know if it's Moran or Moran. They always pronounce it Moran when they introduce him. Maybe that's the Irish way of saying it. He's in Black Books. You've seen Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah, I've seen Shaun of the Dead, yeah.
He gets dragged out the window of the pub and torn to pieces.
Is he the
tall, dark-haired?
Oh, yeah, I do know him. Wasn't he in love with, what's her name? In Shaun of the Dead. Is he the one? He was going out with her friend, but he really liked her.
That's right.
Yeah. I love that movie. See, that is my sense of humour, Shaun of the Dead.
I love him as well in Run, Fat Boy, Run.
That is just classic. That is a classic.
And Mr. Gosh Dash Dida. Gosh Dash Dida. Where he's smacking him with the little fish turner slicer thing from the frying pan.
I tell you what's on Amazon Prime at the minute. I don't know if you've seen it, but Caitlin and I went, I think it must have been last summer, to see it. Blinded by the Light.
What's that?
It's a movie based on a true story about this Asian lad growing up in, I think it was Luton in the 1980s. And he's a massive Bruce Springsteen fan.
Oh, right.
And the guy whose life it's based on, he's actually quite good friends with Bruce Springsteen now, because he was like his super fan. Kind of stalked him a bit, I suppose, but he's, you know, talked to him a few times and that. And honestly, the movie is brilliant, proper decent British movie, and it's on Amazon Prime. It's really good. What was I going to say? I've just lost my thread. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, it was really good. Caitlin enjoyed it, and she doesn't even know any Bruce Springsteen music. Did you like the Beatles one, Yesterday?
Haven't seen it.
Oh, right, okay, because I was going to say it's along the same sort of lines as that.
Right.
But yeah, it's really, really good. And there was one bit, that was what I was going to say, there was one bit in the film where, because obviously it's set in the 80s, people were very rude, and somebody uses the P word about this lad, right? And the whole cinema went, oh! It's amazing how different it is now.
Yeah,
so nice to see that everyone was shocked. I mean, people would just use that word all the time, like the N word.
Oh yeah, yeah, horrible.
And they couldn't see the problem. Oh, it's beautiful. Are we flashing?
Oh, I'm flashing.
I can flash. Woo!
It's looking really good.
Does that make your eyes go funny?
Does a bit.
So my dad had this one stripy shirt, and my mum always used to have to steel herself to iron it because it made her feel dizzy.
Yeah, some fabrics are just like that, aren't they?
Yeah, she'd leave it till the end, and she's like, "Oh, I hate this shirt."
Bless.
Yeah. So what you having for your tea?
We've got some pork steaks that I got out of the freezer yesterday. My plan was to cut off the fat and quickly fry that off and stick it in a dish for the hounds later. And cut the pork steaks themselves into strips. Do some stir fry veggies. Throw the pork in. Seasoning of choice. And Jake says he wants noodles.
Egg or rice?
I think we've only got egg ones in the house.
I like egg noodles.
I like rice noodles because they're lighter.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want anything in heavy. He loves his noodles.
I like noodles.
He makes me laugh though, because he'll say, "Get the foreign ones; they're better."
Why?
Because the seasonings. Well, he seems to think so.
Oh well.
There's a brand called Coco, K-O-K-O or K-O-K-A or whatever.
Yeah.
That appear in home bargains every now and then. And if they've got those in, just fill half the basket with them, and I'll pay you later. And they're half the price that you pay in the other supermarkets, but he really likes the flavourings. They do a curry one that's actually I only have to put in about 2/3 of the packet of seasoning, because otherwise it just blows your head off.
Right.
He really
Caitlin likes super noodles, so I'll have to maybe try and get some of those ones then, because she might like them. And super noodles are expensive for what they are, I think.
Yeah, they are.
Well, I'll see if I can get some next time I go shopping. I think I've got a delivery on Tuesday, and I'm umming and ahhing over whether to cancel it or not.
What? Do you need much?
Well, I will need like fruit and veg and things, but my problem is that last time I got a delivery, half of it was missing anyway. Right. And they substituted some things, but you can't send the substitutes back.
Right.
Normally you can, but at the moment you can't. And I'm thinking, do I want to risk them sending me a load of rubbish and having half of it missing and have to go to the supermarket anyway? Or would I just, maybe put in an order for big heavy things, like bottles of drink and stuff like that, and then just go down at 8 o'clock at night and get some bananas and strawberries and stuff? I haven't quite 100% decided, because I don't really want to be in the supermarket doing a huge, massive, great big shop if I can get away with it, to be honest.
No, we've been discussing whether we should go sort of Monday night or something.
I would definitely say if you could go of an evening. Yeah, if you can go of an evening, definitely do that. But it depends if you need something else.
I've got 3 litres of lactose-free, and he's drinking that at the moment because he didn't tell me that he ran out of his regular milk.
Right.
It just does my head in.
Yeah.
We were in town on Wednesday, whatever day it was. He was with me. He's the only person drinking his milk. He must have known that it didn't feel like it had 4 pints in it. But and he went to Bargain Booze. He could have got a 4-pinter of milk from there.
Do they do milk in Bargain Booze?
Yeah, it's one of the cheapest places in town for milk.
Do you know?
Go to the Tesco Express.
We've got one near us, and I just naively assumed that they just sold booze in there.
Well, they've got all sorts of stuff. The guy at our Bargain Booze in Ulverston has been advertising all manner of things. They've got a lot of essentials in stock, like bread and things like that for people, and they're delivering out every day.
Oh, wow.
They've been excellent.
That's good to know, isn't it? I never knew that. I just assumed it was, booze and maybe some softies like Coke and things.
No, they've got a set of fridges at the back, and I don't know if they have cheese and other things like that in it, but he was expanding the range on the basis that people might want home delivery. And the guy's been driving all over the place to help people out, and they pretty much deliver the same day.
Because I think sometimes those smaller shops are the ones where you can get what you need more easily from, aren't they?
Yeah,
so a lot of people don't think to go and look in them.
I think they're an independent shop, but they buy through Bargain Booze, and it's a bit like
a franchisey type thing.
Something like that. Yeah.
Right.
I think so.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, but I would say if you are literally just going to the supermarket, you would definitely be better off going of an evening. That's what I found personally, because my experience was that there were less people in there, so I didn't queue at all to get in, straight in. And because there weren't very many people in the actual shop, the staff were free and able to restock the shelves. And so I didn't find an issue with anything. So, when I'd gone to Tesco's in the morning, there was a massive queue, and already people were depleting the shelves of all the stuff that were wanted, the main things. But the staff weren't able then to put more back on. So once it was gone, it was gone. It's just, My friend was complaining about the broccoli or something. She said there wasn't any broccoli on the shelves, but when she did a second sweep round, she found some boxes shoved to one side of it. And that's just because the staff literally cannot get it out on the shelves. They haven't got time.
Yeah, I really don't understand why people are so ungrateful. I don't get it. They're doing their best while we're all sat at home on our backsides.
Yeah.
Not really contributing anything.
Well, I'm not.
You know, in the grand scheme of things, we've kind of got an extended holiday.
Yeah.
However you wish to look at it. And I don't think that gives us the right to bitch and moan about everybody that's out there actually just trying to do the best in utter chaos.
I was watching again on the BBC News this morning. There was a report into truck drivers at the moment.
Yeah.
My goodness, those guys have got it hard at the moment because they're still trying to work because they need to get the supplies to us, the distribution needs sorting out. But where they would normally go to the services, and there's special facilities for the truckers, they could have showers, you know, get their hot meals, get hot drinks, everything. It's all shut down. There was literally, I think the toilets were open, but nobody had been in and cleaned them. And the guys were saying, you know, it's really unhygienic in there and they literally do what they have to do and come out. They're not getting proper showers. They're just using wet wipes to have a little, you know, what is it? My husband called it a submariner's dobie.
Yeah.
And then if they're lucky and they've got a microwave in their cab, they were using that to maybe put a mug of water in the microwave to boil it up to make themselves a cup of tea. And this one guy, he was saying that the only spare time he had to go shopping was on the Sunday, and he was trying to get microwave meals, and all he could get was a few spaghetti bologneses because there wasn't much on the shelves. So he was basically living on microwave spaghetti bolognese all week long.
I know.
And you don't think about it, do you? You don't think about these poor guys. He said he leaves for work early hours on the Monday morning and probably won't get back until like the Friday or the Saturday.
Yeah, it's crap,
away all week. Yeah. So I do feel for them. And again, they're ones that are getting paid less money. It seems to be all the ones that are out there putting themselves through God knows what and in danger are the ones that tend to be the underpaid.
Mm.
It's just,
I don't understand how we can insist as part of our immigration that anybody new coming into this country must be earning or the capacity to earn 23,000 a year here, right? Well, how does that work when we don't even pay that as a minimum wage?
Well, that's the whole point, isn't it? That's their way of cutting the immigration down.
It is.
It's not about being fair,
no,
and it's not about being possible. It's actually about what is one way that we can be seen to be cutting net immigration, because it's such a big popular political point, isn't it?
It is. I know people are moaning about the fruit pickers coming over. I've had people say that they volunteered, but they've not heard anything back. So I don't know if that's a failure at government side to do something in time, and the farmers have just said, look, we need them now and we need experienced people, and if you'd got them earlier we could have helped train them. But the reality is there's going to be food rotting in the fields if they don't get some help like super pronto, and they've never been able to fill those jobs with local people because nobody wants to do them because they don't earn enough money. So it seems to be a common thread that we need to pay people more, surely.
Again, it's backbreaking work, isn't it? It's low paid and it's hard work, and people don't want to do it. Although I have heard, again, on the same thread of what you're saying, that so many say, like, I don't know, just pick a number out of thin air, that 100,000 people volunteered. 50,000 people were contacted and only 10,000 were interviewed. This is the kind of numbers that I've heard. Now, the reasons behind that, I don't know. I mean, it could be a case of, like you say, the farmers are choosing not to interview people who have never done it before, in which case, on the one hand, you can understand it because, like you say, the farmers need people now. They need people that can hit the ground running. Yeah. However, you've also got that catch-22 that we get with the youngsters, isn't it? I need experience, but I can't get experience because nobody will give me experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a really difficult one.
Yeah, so I don't know how much of this is down to bureaucracy and lack of resource to make it happen.
Yeah. Because the other thing was, I think a lot of people were worried at one point that if they were furloughed, that they couldn't work elsewhere. But I understand that that's been sorted out now.
It has, yeah. I mean, I've had someone contact me today to ask about that, and they've had to apply for universal credit, and well, you know.
Well, I'm in the position where I assume that I don't have a job because I haven't been told officially yes or no. Just I'm expecting that you won't be coming back, but I'll let you know, and didn't hear anything. So, you know, it's difficult. But I'm not doing. I've had a little look on my emails, and I did see an email from, well, 2 tutors have emailed me asking me to get in contact with students, but I'm not working. I'll reply eventually.
Well, if you're on holiday, you're on holiday.
Yeah. Well, I'm furloughed without even an 80%, I think, at the moment. So anyway, it is what it is, and I'm fine. I'm happy to not be working, to be honest. But it would have just been nice to be told officially, and for everyone else to be told as well. You know, don't expect her to be doing this or that because she's not working anymore. Anyway, let me have another flash of that blankie.
Oh, silver grey, duck egg, storm blue, mocha, camel, another colour that I can't remember the name of, and then parchment.
That mocha looks more golden than I would expect. I don't know if it's just my camera.
This one is the mocha.
All right. What's the next one up?
That's the camel.
Camel or caramel?
Camel, I think.
Camel, right. Yeah, that makes more sense.
For this
no,
one.
that makes more sense. But camel and caramel are probably quite similar colours anyway, aren't they?
Yeah. What is that? Mushroom. I think that's stone.
Okay.
That one might be mushroom, I don't know. There's parchment in there. I'd have to lay them all out to see which one was which, to be honest.
Yeah. Madness.
They're just a load of leftovers in a bag that I've put in a colour order.
Beautiful.
That'll work.
Oh, well, I think it's about time that I went to the little girls' room, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's all that tea.
Well, I have had a big cup again.
Catch up with you again tomorrow. I don't know that it'll be as long alive tomorrow.
Well, we're not even live, are we?
Well, no, we're not. Well, we are alive, but we're not live online.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll catch up with you tomorrow. Sorry, we couldn't get live today, but it's
one of those things.
It is. Right, I'm going to stop recording now.